Today, I want to speak to the version of you that's tired of starting over. The version that knows they're capable of more. The version that doesn't need comfort anymore, just clarity, just truth. You see, motivation isn't something you wait for. It's something you create. And if you listen to this every day, really listen, you'll start to rewire your mind for greatness. So sit up. Take a deep breath. Let's begin. Every single day, you're given a gift choice. Les Brown once said, "You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great." And that's it. That's the whole game. Too many people wait. They wait for the right time, the perfect plan, the right mood. But the truth, the perfect moment doesn't exist. Only now exists. Now is your power. You choose to rise. You choose to believe. You choose to show up. Let me tell you something I've learned from studying high performers. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. Jocko Willink, a former Navy SEAL, says, "Discipline equals freedom." What does that mean? It means the freedom you want, the body, the business, the peace of mind. It all comes from doing the hard things consistently. Discipline isn't loud. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't post on Instagram. It's silent. It's boring. But it's real. The winners? They do what needs to be done, especially when they don't feel like it. One of the greatest lies we've been sold is that change should be easy. Eric Thomas, one of the rawest voices in motivation, said this: "When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful." Mel Robbins, in her 5-second rule, says, "You are never going to feel like it." And that's a truth you have to make peace with. Pain is part of the process. Growth is uncomfortable. You will lose friends. You will fail. You will doubt yourself. That's the price. But hear me, pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher. Your transformation is buried in your discomfort. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. That comes from James Clear, author of Atomic Habits. And it couldn't be more true. Big change doesn't come from one grand gesture. It comes from small, consistent actions, repeated every single day. Reading for 10 minutes, drinking water, waking up early, writing your goals. Every small habit is a vote for the person you want to become. Want to change your life? Change your routine. Tony Robbins talks about state. Your mental and emotional state is the lens through which you experience everything. What does that mean? It means if you live in a state of gratitude, everything feels like a blessing. If you live in a state of anger or fear, everything feels like a threat. The world isn't changing. You are. Your mindset dictates your life. Start controlling your thoughts. Start speaking life over yourself. Stop saying "I can't" and start saying "I'm learning." Your mind will believe whatever you tell it, so speak power. Jim Rohn said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." That's not just motivational fluff. That's real. Your circle is either feeding your growth or feeding your doubt. If you're surrounded by people who complain, procrastinate and settle, it becomes your normal. But if you start surrounding yourself with people who push limits, who chase greatness, who think bigger, that becomes your standard. Evaluate your circle, and if you have to be your own motivation for a while, so be it. You'll attract better when you become better. You are not waiting for motivation. You're avoiding responsibility. Mel Robbins, in her 5-second rule, says, "You are never going to feel like it." And that's a truth you have to make peace with. You'll never feel like waking up early, like eating clean, like starting that business. But guess what? You don't need to feel like it. You just need to do it. The clock is ticking whether you act or not. So take action anyway. You don't need perfect. You need momentum. Let me leave you with this. You are not broken. You're not behind. You're not unworthy. You are powerful beyond measure. But that power, it only shows up when you do. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to move with the fear. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to start. Every time you hit play on this video, remind yourself you were made for more. You are not average, and your life will reflect what you tolerate. Raise your standards. Raise your habits. Raise your voice. Now go out there. Be disciplined. Be bold. Be unstoppable. Save this. Play it again tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, because repetition builds belief, and belief builds reality. This is your life. Own it.